This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review, and what I'm looking at today is 2022's The Green Knight, directed by David Lowery. And this is a gorgeous movie. Now, keep in mind, it's also from A24, so it's not unusual that it's a gorgeous movie. But this movie is particularly gorgeous. And if you're familiar with the work of Ridley Scott, it's in a visually speaking similar vein. It revolves around the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And if you haven't read that story, you're probably going to have somewhat of a difficulty in understanding what's happening. The movie has these title cards that pop up every once in a while, almost breaking it into chapters. It's not quite. It's more based upon the adventures of the title character, Gawain, played by Dev Patel. Though it would probably benefit the average person if they would have read the story. It's a really good story, by the way, and it at least gives the viewer context beyond the movie itself. Though, as I said, this movie is gorgeous to look at. Now keep in mind, during the Middle Ages, there was no electricity. It sounds fairly obvious, in fact, but this is a modern movie, which is to say, lighting is required. So, Lowery had to find a way to light scenes without using obvious lighting, which is a feat, and his cinematographer managed to do so incredibly well. A lot of the light appears to be ambient, as in during the daytime through windows and so on, and candles and that type of thing. It's lit in such a way that you can't necessarily tell the light source, though you know for a fact it's not emanating from one particular place. It's really clever. And the movie has this stark, very sharply defined look to it, and it's just gorgeous. And as I said, it revolves around the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And Dev Patel, who I first heard of through Skins, is such a good actor because so much of what he gives is not based on what he says. It's a gesture, it's a shift of the eye, it's very subtle. And I appreciate that so much, partially because I saw Death on the Nile over the weekend, and Gal Gadot is not a very good actress. She's easy on the eyes, but not a good actress. While Dev Patel is the opposite of that. He's a joy to watch. The story revolves around the Knights of the Round Table. In this depiction, as I said, Gawain is not a knight. The court is visited by this Green Knight, who is a mixture of man and tree. It sounds kind of hokey, but it looks great. And he challenges a knight to behead him. And they have to come to him to be assumedly beheaded in a year's time. None of the other knights, nor the king, will take this challenge. And by the way, I should mention, if you've read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, you are familiar with this story. If you haven't, the movie doesn't help in a sense that it doesn't identify people. So I didn't know King Arthur was King Arthur. I was familiar with the story because, as I said, I've read it. Though I didn't know, as depicted, King Arthur was King Arthur. I didn't know it was a round table because it's not really round. It's not a full circle. So it doesn't stop you from enjoying the movie, but it doesn't exactly add clarity to it either. In any case, Gawain takes the challenge and smites the Green Knight, literally cutting his head from his body. And so he's lauded by the other knights, though the time is coming soon where he has to go to the Green Knight, where, as far as he knows, the Green Knight is going to kill him. And the movie revolves around his journey to reach the Green Knight and the temptations that lie before him to persuade him from his course. It's a beautiful movie, it's a clever movie, and if you're familiar with John Boorman's Excalibur, you're probably going to enjoy this movie so much. It's not the same by any stretch of the imagination. John Boorman's Excalibur, a great movie by the way, if you have not seen it, it is remarkable. But in any case, it's a grittier movie. Both movies deal with what I like to call magical realism, but the way the Green Knight does it is so much more beguiling, so much more beautiful in its way than Excalibur does. Excalibur is a grittier movie, but both of them are beautiful in their own particular ways. I didn't see the Green Knight in theaters, though I imagine it was quite an experience. It is just gorgeous. It's well acted. And I should mention the magical realism in The Green Knight is, in my mind, less overt than Excalibur. It's very clear and very present, but also less overt. It's, for instance, if you recall the scene in Excalibur when, I believe it was Morgan Le Fay, summons a mist to protect her son Mordred. There's nothing quite as blatant as that, though it's very obvious when magic is at play. But it's a very subtle, a very human story. And it's about honor, it's about hope, it's about keeping your promises, and it's about, in some ways, there's a fate worse than death. If you have not seen The Green Knight, check it out. It is well worth your time. This is Brian with screenfiles.com and review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow. Peace.